Hi there.
Hello.
Please state your name for the camera, sir.
James Dirksen.
Oh, you didn't need to state your last name, but that's fine.
Okay.
We're making a movie called Stovall Stories, and we wanted to elicit a few of your opinions. First of all, why is it you sit in that wheelchair?
Because a couple of street apes dropped it off outside when they couldn't pawn it.
Oh, sorry for laughing.
But I'm not crippled. No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Can you tell us about your friend Wallace?
Yeah. Wallace was a crazy guy who lived down the hall, number 4. He used to be a bootlegger, and yeah, he was crazy. That's what he was. But let's see.
Can you tell us about any of his friends? You mentioned something about a guy named Troy.
Yeah, Wallace hated Troy because Troy was a mooch and a thief, and he used to come down at Wallace's place and bum smokes and steal his smokes and steal his booze and money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Wallace hated him. Wallace wanted to kill him, and he had a big, long butcher knife, and he was going to stick it in Troy one day. And I think I talked him out of that. And so.
Oh, that's very generous of you.
Yeah.
Apparently there was something to do with Wallace going into the hospital and not knowing where he was.
Yeah. One day he was hospitalized because he had a psychotic episode of some kind. And he ran down the street in November with barefoot and with no shirt on. And police constable snagged him and called an ambulance. And he ended up in the psychiatric ward in Royal Alec Hospital. So I went to see him, and there he is. He's strapped to a bed so he can't pull his IVs out. And, he's all whacked out. And I says, Wallace, do you know where you are? He says, yeah, I'm in Alberta Hospital. I says, Wallace, do you know who I am? He says, yeah, you're Frank. I thought, well, he ain't tracking too good. So I thought I'd try something else. So I said, Wallace, Troy's an asshole. And this poor deluded old drunk, he says, yeah, he sure is.
Oh, okay. Do you have any other friends around you'd like to tell us about? I heard something of a man named Booby.
Yeah, Booby, yeah. That was a nickname, I think I gave it to him, because he's a bit of a boob. Anyway, you know, like, every town has a town drunk. Well, Booby is Edmonton City drunk. He is the biggest drunk in Edmonton. Yeah.
And where does he live?
Well, wherever he can. Usually in drunk hostel, the what do you call it? Spady Center. And well, he lived here for a little while, but he started a fire in the middle of his floor, nearly burned the place down, burned a hole in his stomach. He was so out of it. Burned a hole in his arm. And well, he was just Booby. And he would always, nobody wanted him around that much because he'd always shit himself, and he'd smear shit all over the place. And if he sat on your chairs, he'd shit on your chairs, or something like that. Anyway.
Did Booby like Troy?
He didn't mind Troy, I guess. Didn't have any particular animosity, I guess.
Sorry, let me just consult my notes. I'll be right back.
Booby, no, Troy hated Booby because Booby would shit all over the toilet.
So, one time you took Booby to the mall. Can you tell me what happened there?
Yeah, Booby owed me some money. So he said, well, let's walk down to the bank and I'll get you your money. I said, okay, we'll do that. So we since the weather was kind of bad, so we went indoors in the pedway. So we walk along the pedway, and pretty soon Booby says, I gotta pee. I said, well, it's no problem. There's a washroom here. Maybe it's not even 100 yards away. You'll be there in 5 minutes. But no, Booby says, I can't wait. And he whipped it out, and he peed against the wall in the pedway. So I just kept walking, pretending I didn't know this guy. And I didn't see him later again that day. And when I did see him, And I told him about that episode. He completely denied it. He said, that never happened. I said, oh, yes, it did.
Now, someone was living here that you didn't get along too well. I believe her name was Marie?
Yeah, Marie and Merv. Yeah, she was a big fat prostitute, crack smoking, AIDS carrying, ugly. She had a voice that would cut glass. And her shack up there, Merv, he was a drunken Blackfoot goof. And they used to get into these wild ass fights. And I never saw it. I heard it many times, and she would scream at him, "If you hit me again, I'm going to stab you while you're sleeping." So I suppose he slept in knife-proof jammies or something.
And your friend Gary, I heard at one point you and him didn't get along.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. Can you tell us what type of business you're in?
I was a bootlegger. But I quit doing that.
I heard you used to put something on you called Customer Appreciation Day.
Yeah, I used to make a lasagna or something, or a baked ham or some baked beans. Give it to all the guys that bought my wine.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, James. We really appreciate your Stovall stories. And we'll hope we'll be filming you again sometime.